What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over the ins and outs of the GT350, as well as doing a full in-depth tour of the vehicle. We'll go over the exterior, power figures, and interior, and take it for a drive. The GT350 is another addition to the lengthy lineup of Mustang trims, but this car is definitely an enthusiast's dream. Slotting right below the GT500, the GT350 is the car made for hardcore track fanatics. Unlike the GT500, the GT350 comes with a manual transmission, and that's the only thing that you can get with this car. Although it doesn't have the GT500's monstrous 760 horsepower, it has a healthy 526. But before I get into today's video, I want to thank City Automall Ford, which is a seller of both new Ford and Chevrolet models. Don't be shy to stop by and say hello to our staff, or even me, Cameron. If you have any questions or concerns about anything you see, I'll leave my email below. Now, let's get into the video. The Shelby GT350 is here from Flat Rock, Michigan. The GT350 is one of the most guttural cars you will ever hear on this channel, and it's emphasized by its high-revving 5.2-liter flat-plane V8, which is something normally found in Ferraris and McLarens. The engine can rev as high as 8,200 RPM, and produces 526 horsepower and 429 pound-feet of torque. The car speeds its way to 60 in 4.1 seconds and 124 in 13 seconds. It maxed out at a blistering 170 miles per hour. The power plant is connected with 6-speed manual transmission. The GT350 employs the use of 15.5-inch 6-piston Brembo brakes in the front, and 15-inch 4-piston Brembo brakes in the rear. In the trunk, the GT350 can hold about 13.5 cubic feet of cargo, which is a sizable amount for a car this fast. This GT350 is outfitted in the color triple yellow, which is only available from 2015 to 2018. The GT350 has a mean and aggressive look, and you may notice that there are very little Ford or Mustang badges around this vehicle. That's because this vehicle is more than a Mustang, it's a Shelby. You can see that the Shelby logo and badges can be found on several different places around the vehicle. Carroll Shelby has been a big name in the Ford community, and he was notorious for tuning Mustangs. This vehicle carries on the Shelby name and it wears it with pride. And let's not forget to mention that this vehicle doesn't sound half bad either. Let's take a listen. Moving on to the interior of the vehicle, current-gen Mustang owners will be very familiar with this layout. There hasn't been any crazy changes for this trim level. You do, however, get manually adjusting Recaro Sport seats, which hug you as you go around a corner. On to the center stack, everything is within reach and nothing is seen as too confusing. The buttons have been kept to a minimum and aren't very overwhelming like in some vehicles. Starting from closest to you, you have your beautiful 6-speed shifter, which feels great when shifting and slots into place beautifully. Just a few inches forward, you have your airplane-style rocker switches for your exhaust, traction control, launch control, and the hazard lights. Upwards of that, you have familiar switches like your climate controls and infotainment system switches. Ford owners will be very familiar with this infotainment layout, granted that this one is branded Shelby and not Ford. It has your standard infotainment apps like AM and FM radio, climate controls, phone mirroring apps like CarPlay and Android Auto, and standard things you'd find in infotainment systems. What most people really want to see is what's in the gauge cluster, which has loads of apps that monitor your car's performance and data. You can monitor just about anything from the gauge detail menu, from tire pressure to oil pressure to tire temperature, to even the temperature of the air that's going into the car's intake. You also have the line lock feature, which lets you hold the car's front tires while the rear ones spin, letting you warm them all the while doing a crazy burnout. You also have other track data like lap time, brake performance, and your performance shift indicator, which beeps you to let you know when to shift. Although this interior isn't a far cry from other, less powerful Mustangs, it definitely is more attuned for performance race driving, which most people who buy these cars will be doing. The track apps also emphasize this as well, with their multiple data functions and car monitors. However, the interior is well put together and very comfortable to sit in and drive. Now that we've gone over the exterior and interior of this beast, let's get it out on the road and see just how it drives. Alright, and we are off. As I said before, hopping into the vehicle, you notice just how tight the seats are. if you have anything in your pockets, make sure you get them out before you hop inside, because once you sit down, there's no getting anything out.
I had in neutral, no worries. Just trying to do launch control. Just, I'd say just take a...
The clutch was super smooth, however, you have to be extremely precise with it. This was a finicky car and was definitely not for an amateur driver like myself. I may or may not have stalled the car a few times while driving.
So, I was gonna say, there's a little neighborhood.
The steering was so heavy in sport mode, and the steering ratio was so precise, it felt like I was steering a go-kart. There was little to no body roll when going around corners. Even though I'm used to Indiana's terrible roads, this car made things 10 times worse. The suspension was so stiff in sport mode, every little tiny road undulation was felt. But all that aside, even in third gear cruising at 40 around the city, the noise coming from the vehicle was absolutely brutal. Flooring the vehicle was so intense, and the way that it pushed you in your seat and the noise it produced was so amazing. The brakes were extremely grabby as well. There's no way this car is going to let you ease into a stop. It stops the car so well that you wouldn't want anything else in the vehicle. 4.1 seconds in 170 doesn't sound fast compared to supercars that are doing upwards of 217 and go from a stop to 60 in under 3 seconds. But the sound accompanied with the harsh ride and the fact that you are the one making the gear changes makes you feel like you're going faster than you actually are. And that's about it, folks. Overall, the car presented a raw experience, and it definitely would feel more at home on the track. At the end of the day, the GT350 is every automotive enthusiast's dream. A big burly V8, rear-wheel drive, and a 6-speed manual transmission. It's filled with modern technology, yet it feels so raw when driving. While the GT500 is still a track monster, this car is for those who want to feel more connected with their car and the road, which is something the GT500 doesn't offer. On the used market, these things are going for not much more than a new Mustang GT, which is built on the same platform as this car. This is an incredibly track-focused car, and prices are only getting better. This car should definitely be on your shopping list if you're looking for something fast, loud, track-focused, and also a little bit practical. Now, this vehicle is currently for sale, and if by chance you happen to view this video and this vehicle is no longer available, we have a massive amount of pre-owned and new vehicles available, so stop by for a visit, or ask for me, Cameron, and I'll be sure to help you out. Although each Mustang trim is special in its own respective right, this vehicle is more than just a Mustang. This is a Shelby. This crazy vehicle is a continuation of Carroll Shelby's great name, and this is just proof that it's alive and doing very, very well. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification to be notified when I upload a new video. But for now, I'll see you all next time.